Hello, everyone, and another very warm welcome to another episode of Marketing the Invisible. My name is Tom Poland, joined today by Jeff J. Hunter. Jeff, g'day, sir. Very warm welcome. Where are you hanging out?
I'm out here in California, Tom. Thank you.
California. Whereabouts in California? It's a big place, California.
Yeah, Northern California, near the Bay Area. I'm actually in between San Francisco and Sacramento. If you draw a line between them, there I am.
Nice spot. Okay, well, welcome to the show. For those of you who don't know Jeff J. Hunter, just to distinguish him from the others, Jeff J. Hunter builds personal brands. He doesn't have this in his bio, but he's actually a serial entrepreneur. He just
I
can't
am.
help himself starting new businesses, which is very interesting from my perspective.
Yeah. And the greedy moment for you guys on the 7 questions is I also happen to have a virtual assistant company. I've hired hundreds of people remotely to not only power my own business, but also businesses all over the world.
And that is going to play nicely into our title. So uh, Jeff actually builds personal brands for people who are pretty successful, accomplished CEOs and founders who are ready to leverage their business achievements to become influencers in their category. I've seen him on TV shows and on radio shows as podcast guests. He's knows social media inside out, upside down. But the subject today, I told you he was a serial entrepreneur, is how to build a productive remote team to scale your business growth. And we all need that in COVID-19 environment. If not now, then when? And he's going to show us how to do that in 7 minutes. Jeff, our 7 minutes starts now. Question number one is, who is your ideal client?
Wow. My ideal client is usually someone who is scaling their business there's two. One is a business that's like in a growth mode and they just can't keep up with things that they need to get off their plates. The other is actually solopreneurs. So the other side of the spectrum, someone who maybe doesn't have time to hire a dedicated person or put things together so they can start with an hour a day, 20 hours a month type thing. So.
Right. And so what's question number two, 6.5 minutes left. What's the problem you solve for them?
Well, the biggest problem is that we have very limited resources called time, right? So I think the biggest challenge that we as entrepreneurs have, and by the way, a lot of our clients are intrapreneurs. So they're team leaders. They might be sales leaders. They might be marketing teams at companies that need help within the company, but they're not given the budget to hire a full $50,000, $60,000 a year a team member.
Good
right?
point.
So it's all about time management. How can you start leveraging your time to get the most out of it? And how can you delegate things to other people to do the things you shouldn't be doing?
Right. Thank you. Question number three, 5.5 minutes left. What would you say are some of the typical symptoms of this solopreneur, entrepreneur, or entrepreneur, someone who's working in someone else's organization but is still very entrepreneurial? How do they know they're going to need to hire to build a remote team, be it 1 hour a week to start with or 100 hours a week? What are some of the typical symptoms they're going to be experiencing where they go, oh, yep, that's me. I need to talk to Jeff?
So I separate things into 4 columns. One is repetitive. What are the most repetitive things that you do in your business those are usually the easiest to delegate? So like, for example, how you and I met, I have a VA, her name's Nicole, who logs into my LinkedIn account and she identifies podcast hosts of people that have really interesting podcasts. She actually engages with them. She sent you the message that you read that got me on your show. So these are things that are repetitive that maybe isn't the best use of my time. So repetitive. The second column is, what are the things you're not doing because you're doing a lot of repetitive things? Neglected, right? The third column is probably my favorite, which is what is the challenging things? What are the things that are like funnels and things like that? Those are very challenging. The last one is value. And this is where we should focus our time on. What are the most valuable uses of our time and how can we get rid of everything else? I call it the 90-10 rule. How do we get rid of the 90% of things in our life holding us back from the 10% that's the most valuable?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. So question number 4 is, and we've got 4 minutes left, coincidentally. So people are going to be identifying a lot of the things they could be outsourcing. They're probably going to be time poor, stressed, not know where to start, but they will try stuff. So what are some of the common mistakes that your clients are telling you they made before they found your solution?
Not having defined roles, not having things set up in their business. They don't have any procedures. They don't have clear instructions on what they're supposed to be doing. They don't even have an idea of what that person's supposed to do before they hire them. So the first step to do before you hire anyone, whether it's me helping you or you hiring someone yourself, is to determine what can I have them do that's really going to move the ball forward. And that's the first step. For every 1 minute of planning, we'll actually save about 10 minutes of execution. That adds up quick.
Okay, thank you. Question 5 is one valuable free action that people could take. That's not going to solve the whole problem, but it's going to help them a bit. And 3 minutes left.
This is a simple one. A lot of people struggle with delegation. The easiest way to delegate, especially if you're not delegating right now, is to do what you want to delegate. And if it's digital, use a recorder. Use Zoom like this. Open it up, press the record button, share your screen, and then talk about what you're doing. So you're giving visible and audio instructions of things that you're trying to get off your plate.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. And question number 6, a valuable free resource we could direct people to that's going to help them even more.
Oh, well, on my website, vastaffer.com, for that serial entrepreneurial world, vastaffer.com, I have a guide that you can see right on the homepage. It's called the 17 Things You Can Delegate to a Virtual Assistant. These are things that every business should be thinking about delegating. And if you're like me 6 years ago saying, what the heck, I don't even know what to delegate, or if you're listening right now, this is a great way to just start getting the wheels spinning on things that you could actually start getting off your plate.
Perfect. So that's vastaffer.com. Go and get the 17, because that'll start stimulating and thinking about what you can delegate. And Jeff's just given us some great ideas on how to delegate, which is screen recording using Zoom or something similar. So question number 7, we've got 1.5 minutes left, which is pretty good. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't? And the answer as well would be nice.
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. I wasn't ready for that one. The question you should have asked me.
How do you get your hair so nice every morning? Maybe not.
Have an electric razor. Yeah. No. How about this? Something that we started out with that we didn't go on about being a serial entrepreneur. How do you manage it all?
That's a great question. How do you manage it all? We've got 70 seconds to tell folks. How do you do that?
Well,
you've got different businesses.
I have to, again, this is an acknowledgement and thanking my team. I have a strong team of 6 project managers. They're really not really project managers. They're more like team leaders. Each of them have their own team. I've got a graphic design team. I have a web design team. I have an executive assistant team. I have an inbound sales guy, Julio. Like, if it wasn't for my leadership team, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. And it's the same people that run all 3 of my businesses: Branded Media, VA Staffer, and my Savage Marketer podcast. They run it all. So
fantastic.
You have to have clearly defined people and roles. It comes back to that.
And I loved your tip about doing this thing yourself first before you delegate it, and then just recording how you did it. Fantastic. Jeff J. Hunter, thank you.
That's because there's a lie, Tom. The lie that we all tell ourselves is that we don't have time to delegate.
Right.
We don't have time, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're doing it anyway. So if you record it, you remove that excuse.
Oh, yes. Step up to scale. Jeff J. Hunter, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.